HP1, the sound of the coffee machine was the only thing keeping me sane. I stared at it like it could answer the question burning in my chest. Maya, say something. She stood by the doorway, suitcase beside her. What do you want me to say, Ethan? That you're not serious. That this is another fight we'll fix tomorrow. Her voice cracked. Tomorrow doesn't fix what's already broken. Broken? I laughed, though it hurt. You're walking out after everything we built and you call it broken? She looked down. You built walls, not love. I slammed my mug on the counter. And Daniel? What was he, another part of the foundation? Her eyes lifted sharply. Don't start. Oh, I'll start, I snapped. I saw the photos. You two looked cozy. Care to explain? They were taken out of context. Context? I stepped closer. He was my best friend. You spent nights at our house when I was out of town. You think I wouldn't notice? Her silence said everything. I could feel my pulse pounding in my temples. You could have told me you stopped loving me. You didn't have to humiliate me. I didn't humiliate you, she whispered. Really? Then why is the whole city talking about it? Ethan Cole's wife caught cheating. My investors called before I even had breakfast. Tears filled her eyes. You think I leaked that story? I don't know what to think anymore. She wiped her face with shaking hands. You don't listen. You never did. I tried to tell you I was unhappy, but your company came first. Your meetings. Your empire. You forgot I existed? That's not true. Then when was the last time you asked how I felt? I hesitated. The truth was I couldn't remember. She sighed. Exactly. So you went to Daniel? My voice broke. You went to the one person I trusted more than anyone? It wasn't like that. Then what was it, Maya? Tell me what it was like! She stared at me for a long second, then looked away. It was lonely, Ethan. Those words hit harder than any betrayal. I wanted to yell, but the anger just died in my throat. She picked up her suitcase. I'm done pretending. Pretending? I whispered. That we're happy. I reached for her wrist. You walk out that door, there's no coming back. She pulled free. I know. Maya, please. Her voice shook. Goodbye, Ethan. The door closed softly. Just like that, the world went quiet. I stood there, hand frozen midair, staring at the space she left behind. The air felt heavier without her in it. I poured another coffee, though I didn't taste it. My reflection in the window looked like a stranger, tired, hollow-eyed, pathetic. I whispered to no one. She'll come back, but she didn't. 2 days later, my phone buzzed nonstop. The tabloids exploded with headlines. Billionaire's marriage crumbles in cheating scandal. Paparazzi waited outside my building. Cameras flashed every time I stepped out. At the office, people stopped talking when I entered. Even my assistant avoided eye contact. Daniel called once. I didn't answer. The second time I did. His voice was calm, too calm. You should let her go, Ethan. You're only making it worse. You think I'm the one who ruined it? I hissed. I'm saying she's happier now. You weren't good for her. My knuckles whitened around the phone. And you were? He sighed. I didn't mean for this to happen. You didn't mean to sleep with my wife? Watch your words. Or what? You'll leak another story? He went silent for a beat. Take care of yourself, man. Then the line went dead. I hurled the phone across the room. It shattered against the wall. I wished I could shatter as easily. That night, I sat in the dark, surrounded by everything money could buy. Everything except peace. Her scent still lingered in the sheets. I lay there staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment I'd ignored her. The quiet laughter over dinner I missed. The way she'd wait for me to look up from my laptop. I'd thought success would keep her close. Instead, it built a mansion she couldn't breathe in. My mother called the next morning. Ethan talked to me. What's going on? Nothing. Don't lie to me. The papers are saying awful things. Let them. Did you cheat? She asked softly. No, I whispered. She did. There was silence. Then why do you sound like you're the one who lost everything? Because I did. I ended the call, walked into the kitchen, and poured whiskey instead of coffee. The morning sun hit the counter, but it didn't warm me. I scrolled through old photos on my phone, her laughter, her sleepy smile, the day we moved in. Every image felt like a wound I kept reopening. Around noon, Daniel posted an engagement photo. Him and Maya, her hand on his chest. His smile wide, triumphant, My chest tightened. I laughed bitterly. You didn't waste any time, did you? I smashed the glass against the floor. Shards scattered, just like us. For the first time in years, I didn't go to work. I didn't check emails. I didn't care. I just sat there, surrounded by silence and broken glass, realizing the truth I didn't want to face. She hadn't just left the house. She'd taken the only part of me that was still human. HP 6 months. That's how long it's been since Maya left. 6 months, and my name still trended every week for all the wrong reasons. At the office, whispers followed me like shadows. Did you hear he caught her with his best friend? Someone muttered in the hallway. Yeah, but he's the one who cheated, right? Another replied. I pushed open my glass door and silence fell like a switch. My assistant Olivia pretended to type faster. Morning, Mr. Cole, she said. Morning, I muttered, walking past. Cancel the investor dinner. I'm not interested. She hesitated. Sir, they're already flying in. Cancel it, I repeated, sharper than I meant. She nodded quietly. I collapsed into my chair. My reflection in the black screen looked foreign. Tired eyes, clenched jaw, the kind of face you'd see on someone running from themselves. Then came the knock. Come in. The door opened. My pulse stopped. Daniel Reed. Perfect suit, fake smile. My best friend, ex-friend. The man who stole my wife and my peace. Didn't expect you'd still recognize me, he said. Unfortunately, I do. I leaned back. What do you want? He shut the door behind him. You haven't answered any of Maya's messages. What messages?
She wrote to you. I laughed. She wrote to the tabloids, Daniel.
That's her thing now. She doesn't care about the media, he said coolly. She just wanted closure. Closure? I stood up. She walked out without a word, married her husband's best friend, and now she wants closure? She deserves happiness, Ethan, he said, like it was a favor he'd granted her. My blood boiled. And you're the saint who gave it to her, huh? She needed someone who actually listened. I moved closer. Say that again. He didn't flinch. You were never there for her. I wanted to hit him so badly my hands trembled. Instead, I smiled. Congratulations, Daniel. You've officially inherited my trash. His smirk faded. Still the same arrogant bastard. And you're still the same parasite. He sighed, glancing at the view outside. You're losing everything, Ethan. The company, the respect, the name. Maybe it's time you learn that money can't buy loyalty. Thanks for the moral lecture, I said. You can see yourself out. He straightened his tie. You know what's funny? She still talks about you sometimes. Even when she says she's moved on, I froze. What did you just say? She dreams about you, he said softly. And then she wakes up crying. My throat went dry. Get out! Deep down, you still love her, he added, almost like a taunt. I slammed my hand on the desk. Get out! He left without another word, and I stood there shaking, fists pressed against the wood, breathing like I'd run a marathon. When the door finally clicked shut, I sank into my chair again. The room felt too big, too empty. Olivia peeked in. Are you okay, sir? I forced a smile. Never better, she hesitated. He shouldn't have come. I can handle him. Sometimes handling means letting go, she said quietly. Spare me the therapy session. She nodded and left, the door closing softly behind her. I sat there in silence for a long time. The city lights blinked through the window, cold and indifferent. I turned to my computer, opening the old backup drive, something I hadn't touched since before the divorce. There they were. Hundreds of messages from Maya, old ones, happy ones. The kind you read just to torture yourself. I hovered over select all. My cursor trembled. Just delete them, I told myself. Move on, but one file caught my eye. Hidden draft. For Ethan. It wasn't an email. It was a saved document. Last modified the day before she left. My heartbeat quickened. I almost opened it. Almost. Then I closed the window instead. Not yet. I wasn't ready to face whatever she had to say. Not when anger still felt safer than grief. I grabbed a drink and stared out the window at the skyline I built from nothing. Towers of glass, cold and perfect, just like me. The media could call me a monster, a cheater, a failure. They didn't know the truth. No one did. But as I looked down at the streets below, part of me wondered if maybe she wasn't the only one who ran. Maybe I'd been running first, hiding behind numbers, deals, power. Maybe I drove her away without even realizing it. I laughed bitterly and took another sip. She deserves happiness, Daniel's words echoed in my head. No, she didn't deserve him, but she deserved more than me. The whiskey burned down my throat, and I welcomed the pain. Olivia knocked again before leaving for the night. "Good night, sir." "Yeah," I said without turning around. "Good night." When the office finally emptied, I opened my laptop again. The screen glowed in the dark, and there it was, the file still waiting, her name staring back at me. My hand hovered over it, shaking. I whispered to myself, tomorrow, but deep down I knew tomorrow never comes. I thought I was done with her. I really did, until the past showed up at my door. When I opened it, a woman stood there, nervous, clutching her purse like she was holding her breath. "Ethan?" she said softly. "Yeah," I replied, narrowing my eyes. "Do I know you?" "I'm Lena," she said. "Maya's sister." For a second I couldn't breathe. She looked like Maya, same eyes, same trembling lips. "What do you want?" I asked flatly. She hesitated. "Can I come in?" "This isn't a good time." "It never is," she said quietly. "But it's important," I stepped aside. 5 minutes. She entered like she was stepping into a storm. I noticed how pale she looked, how her fingers kept twisting around her sleeve. "Say what you came to say." "It's about Maya." I scoffed. "Of course it is." "What's wrong? Did your sister run out of ways to ruin me?" "Please don't," she said. She's sick," I laughed bitterly. "That's not my problem anymore." "She didn't want it to be," Lena said quickly. "She told me never to come here. But I had to. Then don't expect sympathy." "She made her choice." Lena's voice trembled. "You really believe she betrayed you, don't you?" I crossed my arms. "She cheated with my best friend. Married him. What else is there to believe?" Her eyes filled with tears. "You don't know the whole story." "Oh, great," I said. "Here comes the fairy tale version." "Daniel wasn't who you think he was," she said. I frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" "He blackmailed her, Ethan." I froze. "What?" "She came to me after she left you. She was terrified. Daniel threatened her with photos, doctored ones. Said if she didn't walk away, he'd leak everything and destroy your company." I stared at her, disbelief clawing at my throat. "You expect me to buy that?" "She was protecting you," Lena said. "She thought if she played the villain, you'd survive the fallout." I turned away, laughing without humor. "You really think I'm that gullible?" "She loved you," Lena whispered. "Even when you hated her." I spun around. "Then why didn't she tell me?" "She tried," Lena said, pulling something from her bag. "She wrote you this. A folded, tear-stained letter." My stomach dropped. "What is that?" "Something she never sent." Her voice broke. "The file was called Hidden Draft, for Ethan. She kept a copy. This is it." The words hit me like a punch. I remembered that same name flashing on my server weeks ago. The one I couldn't bring myself to open. "Where did you get this?" I asked. "She gave it to me before she left town," Lena said. "She said if you ever found out the truth, I should give it to you. I didn't take it. I couldn't." "You're lying." "I wish I was." "She married Daniel," I said, clinging to my anger. "That's not something you do for love." "They never married," she said quietly. "What?" "Daniel made people think they did. It was all for show. She stayed with him because he wouldn't let her leave." My pulse roared in my ears. "You're saying she was trapped?" Lena nodded. "Until he died." "Died?" 2 months ago. Heart attack." I sat down, the floor spinning under me. "This can't be real." She placed the letter on the table. "She wanted you to have this. She said she owed you the truth." I stared at it like it was poison. My throat felt tight. "Why now?" "She's in the hospital," Lena said. "It's getting worse. She didn't want you to find out like this." I shook my head slowly. "After everything she did, you think I can just forgive her?" "Forgiveness isn't for her," Lena whispered. "It's for you." The room went silent. The only sound was the ticking clock. Finally, I said, "Where is she?" "I can't tell you," she replied. She made me promise. I stood up, my hands trembling. "Then why even come here?" "To give you the choice." She pointed at the letter. "You can keep hating her, or you can read it." I stared at the paper for what felt like forever. My chest ached. "I'm not ready," I muttered. "You may never be," Lena said softly. "But one day you'll wish you were." She walked to the door, then paused.
She still wears her wedding ring, you know.
Even now. The door closed, and I stood there alone, staring at the letter that suddenly felt heavier than my entire past. I didn't open it. Not yet, but for the first time in years, I wanted to believe she wasn't the enemy. The letter sat on my desk all night. I stared at it like it was alive, breathing, waiting, daring me to open it. By midnight, I couldn't take it anymore. "Fine," I muttered. "You win." My hands shook as I broke the seal. The first line hit like a gunshot. "If you're reading this, Ethan, it means I couldn't stay silent anymore." I swallowed hard. Her handwriting, still the same, looping, delicate, deliberate. "I know what you think of me." Maybe you should. "I became everything you despised to keep you safe." Safe? I blinked, reading again. "Daniel found things, photos, emails he faked. He said he'd ruin your company, your name, your life if I didn't walk away." I believed him. I gripped the page tighter. "You built something beautiful, Ethan. I couldn't let him destroy it. So I gave him what he wanted, me. I thought if I became the villain, you'd survive," I whispered. No, you didn't." The words blurred. "You once told me love means protecting someone even if it hurts." I tried, but I didn't expect it to hurt this much. I slammed the letter down, pacing across the room. She could have told me. She could have trusted me. But her voice echoed in my mind through the ink. "He watched everything, Ethan. My calls, my emails. I couldn't risk it. He said if you came near me, he'd leak the files. I thought you'd hate me. It was safer that way." My throat tightened. "You were supposed to hate me," I muttered, running a hand through my hair. And I did. I looked at the whiskey bottle on my shelf and poured a glass. My hand trembled so hard the liquid nearly spilled. When I saw your name in the news again, I almost reached out. But then I saw the anger in your eyes, the man you'd become. "I didn't recognize you," I laughed bitterly. "Neither did I." The glass hit my lips. Burned going down. "Didn't help. If you ever find this, I need you to know. Daniel's gone. His lies died with him. I'm tired, Ethan. I just want peace. I never stopped loving you. Not for a single day. That was the breaking point." I threw the glass. It shattered against the mirror, shards raining across the floor. My reflection fractured into pieces, like her words had split me apart. "Damn you, Maya," I whispered. "Why didn't you let me fight for you?" The silence answered. I sank onto the couch, letter still in my hand, tears staining the ink. The phone rang once, twice. I ignored it. The third time, I picked up. "Ethan?" It was Lena. "Yeah." My voice cracked. "You read it?" I did. "And?" I laughed hollowly. "And I feel like I've spent 2 years hating a ghost." She sighed. "I told you she never betrayed you. I destroyed her reputation, Lena. Do you get that? Every headline, every rumor, it all came from me." "She knew you would," Lena said softly. "That's why she left." "Where is she?" "I told you, she's gone. She left the city months ago. Find her. She doesn't want to be found." "I don't care," I snapped. "I need to see her. I need to tell her that you're sorry." "Yes," I said. "That I was wrong. That I still—" The word wouldn't come out. Lena's voice broke. "She thought this letter would destroy you." It did. She just wanted you to live without hate. I looked at the cracked mirror again. My reflection looked like a stranger. "Too late for that." "No," Lena said. "It's not." The call ended. I sat in silence, surrounded by glass and guilt. The city outside was still awake, horns, lights, voices, but everything inside me was quiet. I picked up the letter again, tracing her words with my thumb. "Maybe someday you'll forgive me. Or maybe you won't. But I hope you find yourself again. The man who believed in love without conditions. He's still there, somewhere beneath the anger." I closed my eyes. "I buried him," I whispered. "If you ever do forgive me, don't come looking. Just live. That'll be enough." I folded the letter carefully, almost reverently, and set it beside the broken mirror. "I don't know how," I said aloud. "I don't even know where to start." The moonlight hit the cracks in the glass, scattering fragments of my face across the floor, dozens of versions of me, all broken in different ways. For the first time, I didn't feel anger. I felt empty. Hollow. Human. I poured another drink, stared at it, then poured it down the sink instead. "You wanted me to live," I whispered. "Then I'll try." But deep down, I knew it wouldn't be enough until I saw her. Until I said the words she never heard. I glanced at my laptop, the one that still held every message we ever sent. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Search, Maya Roberts. No results. I exhaled slowly, the weight in my chest unbearable. "Then I'll find you myself," I said into the empty room. "No more lies, no more ghosts." And for the first time in years, I meant it. "Run the name again," I told Marcus over the phone. "Maya Roberts. Age 31. Last known in New York. Check hospitals, volunteer lists, anything," he sighed. "Ethan, it's been weeks. Maybe she doesn't want to be found." "She doesn't get to disappear," I said sharply. "Not after everything." "Are you sure this is about her?" His question stung. "Just find her." I hung up before he could reply. Every night I repeated the same routine. Search reports, call old contacts, bribe journalists. Nothing. It was like she'd been erased. I even visited the last apartment she'd rented. The landlord shook his head. "Left months ago. Paid in cash. Didn't leave a number." Each dead end felt like punishment. 2 weeks later, Marcus called back. "Got something. A woman matching her description volunteers at a children's center in a coastal town, Briar Shore. You want the address?" My heart slammed against my ribs. "Text it. The drive took 4 hours. The farther I went from the city, the quieter everything felt. No horns, no glass towers. Just gray skies and the smell of salt. Somewhere between mile markers, I whispered to myself, what if she doesn't want to see me? No answer came, just the wind through the open window. By the time I reached the coast, the sun had dipped low. Waves rolled lazily onto sand, carrying that strange mix of peace and regret. I parked outside a small painted building, Briar Shore Children's Center. Laughter spilled through open windows. I froze at the doorway, afraid to move. Inside, a group of kids sat on the floor drawing. And there she was, Maya. She was thinner, her hair shorter, tied loosely back. But her laugh, soft, warm, was the same sound that once filled our kitchen. A boy tugged at her sleeve. "Miss Maya, can you help me draw a rocket?" She knelt beside him, smiling. "Only if it goes higher than the clouds," he grinned. "It will." I stood there, hidden in the doorway, my breath caught somewhere between pain and awe. A staff member noticed me. "Sir, are you looking for someone?" I cleared my throat. "Yeah, Maya Roberts." She frowned slightly. "She's finishing her shift. Should I tell her you're here?" "No," I said quickly. "Not yet." The woman nodded and walked away. I stayed where I was, watching Maya gather the kids' drawings. She tucked one into her bag, a messy crayon heart with the words, "Thank you, Miss Maya." She smiled at it like it was treasure. I whispered to myself, "You always found love in broken places." My phone buzzed. Marcus again. I stepped outside to answer. "You find her?" he asked. I did. "And?" "She's alive, different, happy," I swallowed. "I almost ruined that once." "Ethan, maybe seeing you will hurt her more." "I know." "Then why are you still there?" I stared at the horizon. "Because I owe her the truth." The line went silent for a long time before he said, "Don't turn this into another mistake." "I won't." I ended the call and slipped the phone into my pocket. The wind carried the sound of children laughing again, fading into the evening. I took a few steps toward the door, but my legs stopped on their own. Through the window, I saw her hug a little girl goodbye, her hands trembling slightly. Then she locked up, tucked her bag over her shoulder, and walked toward the beach path. I followed from a distance, not close enough to be seen, just enough to watch her silhouette against the fading light. She sat on a bench overlooking the same sea that had swallowed my anger hours ago. She closed her eyes, breathing deeply, peaceful in a way I had never seen before. For a moment, I wanted to call her name, tell her I knew the truth, tell her I was sorry. But my voice died before it reached my lips, because she looked free. I realized then that love wasn't about possession or revenge. It was about peace, and she'd found it, without me. The ocean roared softly below, carrying away the last of my bitterness. I whispered, "You won, Maya." The waves answered, quiet and endless. I turned back toward the car, my heart heavier yet strangely lighter at the same time. As I opened the door, I caught one last glimpse of her reflection in the rearview mirror, smiling faintly, like she'd known I was there all along, and for the first time in years. I didn't feel the urge to chase. I just whispered, "Be happy," and drove into the night. She saw me before I could speak. Her hand froze on the doorknob, eyes wide, face pale. The room behind her was quiet, just a few scattered crayons, tiny chairs, and the faint echo of children's laughter fading into silence. "Ethan?" Her voice cracked, soft but sharp. "Hi," I said, my throat dry. "I didn't mean to. Why are you here?" I swallowed hard. "To say I'm sorry." Her eyes hardened instantly. "Sorry?" She laughed once bitterly. "Sorry doesn't erase the years you ruined." "I know," I said. "But I had to see you. I read the letter." Her jaw tightened. "Lena shouldn't have given that to you." "She didn't. I found it." She crossed her arms. "Then you should have left it where it was." I couldn't. I had to know the truth. "I needed to understand the truth?" She interrupted, her voice rising. "The truth is that you believed a lie because it was easier than believing in me." I felt the sting of every word. "You think it was easy watching everything fall apart? Watching you walk away?" "You didn't watch," she said coldly. "You judged. You condemned. You destroyed me without asking why." I took a step closer. "Maya, don't!" she snapped, backing away. "Don't say my name like it still means something to you." I paused, letting the silence settle. "It does. It always did." She shook her head, tears filling her eyes. "You came all this way for closure?" "No, I came because I finally understand what you did for me." Her lips trembled. "Too late. I know," I forced a breath. "Daniel's gone." I heard. Her expression shifted. Pain, anger, something else. "He's dead," she whispered. "He couldn't live with what he did." My stomach twisted. "When? 2 months ago?" "Car crash. They said it was an accident." "And you believe that?" She looked away. "He told me everything before he died. Every file, every lie, every threat. He begged me to forgive him." I closed my eyes.
"Did you?"
"No," she said quietly. "Some things don't deserve forgiveness." I nodded slowly. "Then neither do I." "You're right," she said, voice trembling. "You don't." The words hit harder than any blow. "I spent 2 years rebuilding what you destroyed," she continued. "My name, my work, my sanity. Every day I told myself I hated you enough to move on. And did you?" I asked. She met my eyes for a moment, long enough for the silence to say everything. "No," she whispered. "That's the worst part. I couldn't." The admission cut through me. "Then why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you come back?" "Because you didn't believe me when it mattered." She stepped closer, her eyes fierce now. "You wanted revenge, Ethan, and you got it. You turned me into a villain so you could stay the hero." "I wasn't a hero," I said. "I was a coward hiding behind anger." She shook her head slowly. "No, you were broken, and I helped break you." "I ruined you," I whispered. She gave a bitter laugh. "We ruined each other." Neither of us spoke for a long time. The only sound was the ocean outside, steady and cruel. Finally, I said, "Daniel deserved what he got." She flinched. "Don't say that. He destroyed us both. And he paid for it," she said sharply. "With his life." "But what about me, Ethan? What do I get? Another apology? Another man saying sorry when it's too late?" I took a step forward. "You get the truth. That I loved you. That I still do." Her eyes closed. "Don't," she said again, softer this time. "Don't do that to me." "I mean it," I said. "You're the only thing I ever got right." She opened her eyes, and for a second I saw the woman I once knew. Gentle, trusting, full of light. Then she looked away. "You can't fix what's already dead." I exhaled shakily. "Maybe not, but I had to try." She turned to the window, staring at the darkening sky. "You always wanted control. Even now, you think showing up gives you the power to make things right." "I don't want control," I said quietly. "I just want peace." "Then leave me with mine." Her words were final, cutting clean through me. I tried to speak, but nothing came. I just stood there, memorizing her face one last time. The tired eyes, the faint scar near her lip, the quiet strength I'd once mistaken for weakness. "I never stopped loving you," I said finally. "Even when I hated you." She turned, her expression unreadable. Then maybe that's the problem, I nodded. Maybe it is. The door creaked open behind me. I stepped aside, letting the cold air in. Goodbye, Maya. She didn't answer. As I walked out, her voice came faintly behind me. Ethan? I stopped, heart pounding. Yeah? I hope someday you forgive yourself. Because I already did, I turned. But she was gone. Just the empty room and the echo of her words. Outside, the sea roared louder, like it wanted to swallow everything we'd ever said. And for the first time, I realized forgiveness didn't mean forgetting. It meant living with what you couldn't undo. The bench creaked beneath us as the ocean wind swept across the courtyard. I could smell salt and fading sunlight. Maya looked at the horizon, her hands folded neatly on her lap. I didn't think you'd actually find me, she said, her voice barely above the waves. I searched everywhere, I replied. I had to, she gave a tired smile. You always had to fix things after they broke. Some things don't get fixed, Ethan. I turned to her. Then tell me what I can do. Just once, tell me how to make it right. Her eyes shimmered with something between pity and exhaustion. You can't! That's what I've been trying to accept. A lump formed in my throat. You think I haven't suffered? You think I didn't pay for what I did? She shook her head gently. This isn't a competition in pain. The silence stretched, filled with the cries of gulls and the distant laughter of children. Then she said quietly, I'm sick. My heart stuttered. What do you mean? She met my gaze. Lung cancer. Stage 4. The words hit like a blade to the ribs. I blinked hard. No, that can't. There has to be something. There isn't, she interrupted. I tried. The doctors tried. It's too far gone. I felt the ground tilt beneath me. You should have told me. Her lips trembled into a sad smile. I didn't want you to see me like this. I clenched my fists. I don't care how you look. I just want time to be with you too. She placed a hand on mine, fragile and cold. You've already wasted enough time, Ethan. I flinched. Don't say that. It's true, she whispered. All those years we could have fought together, but you chose to fight me instead. I looked down, my voice breaking. I thought I was saving something that was already gone. She nodded softly. We were both trying to survive different kinds of pain. I swallowed hard. Then let me be here now. Let me help you through this. Maya shook her head. No, I've made peace with it. I helped the children here. They remind me what kindness feels like. That's enough. Her calmness hurt more than anger would have. You really forgave me, didn't you? I had to, she said.
Hate takes too much of what little life I have left. My chest ached so deeply I could barely breathe.
I don't deserve forgiveness, she smiled faintly. No one does. That's what makes it real. For a moment, the wind stilled. The sky burned orange and pink, the color of endings. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small silver pendant. Do you remember this? She asked. I stared. Inside the locket was a tiny photograph. Her laughing, my arm around her, sunlight spilling over both of us. I remembered that day. Our first trip. Before everything turned dark, she placed it in my hand. Keep it, she said. Maya, to remember what love was, she continued. Before it broke. I looked at her, my vision blurring. You think I can ever forget? Her eyes softened. I hope you don't. Forgetting would mean it didn't matter. I wanted to tell her everything, every regret, every sleepless night, but the words caught in my throat. All that came out was a hoarse, I'm sorry. I know, she said, and I believe you now. We sat in silence again, listening to the waves crash against the shore. The world around us kept moving, but for me, time had stopped. Finally, she stood. It's getting late, I rose too quickly. Let me drive you home, she shook her head. No, stay here. Watch the sunset for me. Maya, please. She smiled gently, the same way she used to when she wanted to end an argument without saying the last word. Goodbye, Ethan. Her voice lingered like a fading song. I watched her walk away, slow and fragile, her hair glowing gold in the last light of day. Each step felt like a page closing, each breath like a goodbye I didn't know how to say. When she disappeared behind the gate, I opened the pendant again. Our younger faces smiled back, untouched by time or tragedy. The sky dimmed. The ocean roared. I held the pendant tight against my chest and whispered into the wind, Goodbye, Maya. It arrived on a rainy morning, small, plain, no return address. But the handwriting stopped me cold. Maya. My hands trembled as I tore it open. Inside was a single folded page and the pendant I'd returned to her the last time we spoke. The sight of it made my chest tighten. I unfolded the letter. By the time you read this, I'll be gone. The words blurred instantly, but I kept reading. Don't blame yourself, Ethan. Just live differently. Be kind. Be real. That's the revenge love deserves. I dropped the letter, my breath shattering in the quiet. No, I whispered, picking it up again. No, please. The rain hammered the windows. My apartment felt too empty, too clean, like it didn't deserve to hold something written by her. I read her words over and over until the ink bled into the paper, until her handwriting became just shapes of pain. Lena called that afternoon. Ethan, did you get it? I swallowed hard. Yeah, her voice softened. She mailed it before it happened. I should have stayed, I said. She didn't want you to. She never wanted me to when it mattered. Lena sighed. She forgave you, Ethan. That's more than most people get. But I never forgave myself, I muttered. Then start there. The call ended, but her words lingered. Start there. I spent days walking through the rain, retracing every memory I had of Maya. The way she laughed with her whole face, the way she believed even broken things could shine. And I wondered when I stopped believing that too. The company board called next. You're really selling everything? One of them asked. Yes, I said simply. All of it. Ethan, think this through. You built this empire. I built it on anger, I said. It doesn't deserve to stand. There was silence on the other end. What will you do instead? Something real. I hung up and signed the papers that night. The headlines followed. CEO donates fortune to Children's Center. They called it a scandal. I called it peace. When I visited the center again, the kids were painting. Their laughter filled the hallways. A little girl ran up to me, her hands stained with blue and yellow. You're the man from the picture, she said, pointing to a photo of Maya on the wall, her arms around the children, smiling like sunlight. Yeah, I said quietly. I knew her. She was nice, the girl said. She said we should always forgive people who say sorry. I smiled through the ache. She said that a lot. I spent the afternoon fixing broken shelves and reading stories to the children. It was strange how easily joy returned to places she'd once touched. Like she'd left pieces of herself behind to keep the world soft. That night, I sat by the sea, the pendant in my palm. I could still feel her warmth in the metal, still hear her voice in the wind. I found you too late, I whispered. The waves answered with silence. But for the first time, I didn't fight it. Maybe love wasn't about finding someone in time. Maybe it was about what you became after losing them. I unfolded her letter again, tracing every curve of her handwriting. Be kind. Be real. I thought of all the ways I'd failed her, all the ways I'd buried my heart under pride and power. But somewhere between her leaving and her forgiveness, she'd given me something greater than absolution. She'd given me a reason to begin again. I looked out at the ocean, the horizon glowing faintly beneath the clouds. You were right, I said. Love doesn't end. It just changes who we are. The wind carried her name through the rain. I closed my eyes and let it wash over me. For once, I didn't feel broken. Just human, and maybe that was enough.